Welcome to this afternoon's
Hello and welcome to round 9 of the front row. It's 5 circuits on the calendar. I would class it a classic, and once again we are all set for what's going to be an enthralling and exciting weekend's action. Well, many drivers will see this as our home circuit. Me and Ray, well, we're Scottish. Do we class it as our home one? That's a debate for another day. But anyway, let's move on to the World Championship. And first of all, the result last time out. What happened? Well, initially it was Kev that had won the race, and he quickly had that taken away from him. Kev, having won the Grand Prix, he's lodged an appeal, lost that to Dom after he got, I believe, a 10-second penalty. Ray, what do you make of that? Was that a fair call? Do you think that was fair? A 10-second penalty?
I don't know what it was for, so I can't comment.
I suppose I think it was fair, but he's lost an appeal, so I'm sure we'll have to wait and see on that one. So Kev, as a result, has not really extended his championship lead the same rate he was planning to, but back in Austria, a poor result for Williams. To see Dom finally breaking the Williams dominance, not on the racetrack, but in the stewards room after the Grand Prix. I'm just going to try and load up the championship standings. I accidentally loaded up the wrong World Championship standings as some of the drivers head onto the racetrack here to start this British Grand Prix weekend. We've got Stocky out there, who is returning this week, which is brilliant to see after a serious piece of bad news in his family, and he's racing to try and keep his mind, you know, away from that in a way, and try and keep himself focused and happy and enjoying himself, and that's good to see him back this weekend. Hopefully he can have a nice, easy and enjoyable race, a stress-free race this weekend. I mean, that's terrible what's happened to him, and we hope he can bounce back quickly from that one. That's what we hope to see then, as we see Bartman out on the racetrack going through Magus and Beckis for the first time throughout the weekend. How will he do this weekend? Another man that's been impressing lately, and one of the men really up there trying to fight with Williams. Is he the man this weekend? We'll have to wait and see, but he's certainly a man who can contend to beat the Williams guys. Williams claiming they've not done much race pace practice this weekend. They've won all but one of the races this season, which was last time out, pending appeal of course. But I can now give you the race result before the stewards' inquiry. It was Kev that won the race, the Williams driver, from Dom and Dave. That's now been overturned, and it's now Dom who wins the race, with Dave second and Kev in third. Driver standings then, with everything all switched around and changed, it is Dave on top with 154 points, Kev in second place with 151. Both Williams drivers well clear of the of the season. They've got 305, Lotus with only 150, Ferrari third with 101, Force India with 98, McLaren Honda with 53. Red Bull's got 42, and Mercedes are right at the very bottom, also on 42. So as the first drivers head out onto the track, we can have a look at the standings. We've had purple in the final two sectors, but as you would expect, not many drivers have set a lap time. Stocky goes now into second place in the 32.6, some 6/10 shy of Bartman's initial pace. Mowney, who's bottom of the standings with 0 points, yet to score so far this season, is in third place 3 times out of 3. He's third, 134.2. But we'll get Dom out there setting purple sectors. He's the man to watch for at the moment. Let's see if we can pick up with him as Kev and his internet plays up. Well, Dave said that there was an issue with Kev's car. We'll not say internet, we'll say car. And now he appears to have a problem. And can he get back for the race? He's not going to be on the front, at the front of the grid. Well, what do you make of this, Ray? This is drama at its highest order.
Yeah, I've just seen that. He's just, I can't see his car, but...
On the screen he disconnected, he left the session, he's out of qualifying, I believe.
Oh.
Wow. What has happened as Dom has not really lived up to his pace in the first 2 sectors of his lap and only gone second. 1/10 shy of Bartman, but Kev, the man who's won several times this year, a championship protagonist, is out of qualifying, and we've barely completed 5 minutes. We've not even completed 5 minutes of the session, and Kev is out of the session. Is he able to join back? I hope so. Otherwise we can have Dave running away to victory at the front. Well, disaster for Kev. Williams will be working frantically through the night on Saturday to get that car ready for Sunday. Here's hoping they can, because that is not what they want to have happening. So Dom has gone second quickest. Stocky's in the pits, currently third. Jamie James on his first flying lap of the session so far, currently fourth, and climbing his way up through Maggots and Beckett's, really attacking that in the Lotus. A car that doesn't have the greatest aerodynamic grip, but it's really quick in a straight line with that Mercedes engine. And Jamie James heading down that back straight now, the hanger straight as it's known, down into Stowe Corner, attacking up towards 190 miles an hour, turn into the right-hander, the tyres squealing and screeching as you go through there, and down into this new section of racetrack, well, newish, where the pit lane building is, through the club section, Vale, and into the final corner. And up to the line comes Jamie James, a 36.2. Nothing special about that time. We've got James Hulkenberg right behind him on the circuit. What can he do as he comes round the final corner and heads for the line? He's currently 5th quickest. He pops up into 2nd place, just shy of Bartman's pole time. Who else is out there on the lap? We've got front row racing DP crossing the line. He goes 6th with a 132.8. That's all there is out the track at the moment. Who else we got out there? We've got Jamie James again. We'll ride back on board with him through the first sector. 29.3, 9.4 through that first sector. Not quick at all, and we're not going to ride on board with him if that's his first sector. Not quick at all from Jamie James. Dave, he's the man to watch. The man we expect, with Kev no longer in the session, to take pole. 28.1 through the first sector, and that is absolutely blistering pace. That's the quickest we've seen, I believe, through that first sector. Dave on a charge as he goes through left field now, propelling out onto the exit, through the long Woodcook corner, and then down towards Copse. Is he flat in that, Williams? No, is he? Nothing. Massive downshift through the right-hander. Williams, not quick through there. I'm really struggling. Kev out of qualifying, and Dave not really lapping at all quickly. What can he do through the middle sector? Can he shut me up? That did not look tidy at all through Copse a moment ago. 38.3 through that sector. Oh, it's very decent, but it's not quite as decent as Dan Evans, who's gone quickest by 4/10 of a second. Where has he found that one? 31.5, 4/10 ahead of Bartman. Goodness me, that's incredibly fast. Wow, what can Dave do? Can he get anywhere near it? He's coming round the final corner. He's currently 8th, and he goes 2nd. Oh, he's very close. Only 500ths of a second away. His final sector was much quicker than Dan. Wow, very close in the first sector, virtually even. Then Dan claws 3/10 in the middle part, and then Dave claws it back 2/10 in the final part. So yeah, it's Dan with a surprise pole at the moment by just under half a tenth, and then Bartman third, 4/10 off the ultimate pace. James Hulkenberg 1,000 slower than him in fourth. Dom fifth, the winner last time out pending appeal. Then it is Rihan in sixth, with a 32.2. Stocky 7th on a 32.6. Jamie James 8th on a 132.7. Then into the 33s, it's Dave the Harp in 9th place with a 133.494. And Mowney brings up the rear in 10th on a 134.2. Back to the action on the circuit. And Dan's just completed another run, has he? Yes, he has. He's gone even quicker. A 131.3 now from Dan. Raising the bar once again. A 37 in the middle sector. Quicker than anybody's gone so far. Only James Hulkenberg can get close to that. A 38.004 he's done through that middle sector. But Dan is absolutely flying. Where has he found this pace from? He is on a chart here. 28.0 in the first sector. A 10th quicker than anyone. A 10th quicker than anyone in Sector 2, and Kev is back with us. He will make the race. That's great news for this Grand Prix. You can see him siding his way through the field right at the end. Is lapping not very quickly through that middle sector. Dave is coming into the pits, probably wondering how his time wasn't quick enough for pole. And the answer is the emergence of a certain Silver Arrows. That Mercedes is absolutely flying in the hands of the Welshman Dan. What a lap time. Absolutely incredible. Are you surprised by that one, Ray? Because I certainly am.
No, they've been speaking on the chat about he was going fast and he had a chance of getting on the top spot, so he's just proved that he can get onto the top spot. He's just got the rest to do with his race pace.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. And remember, Ray, we heard pre-race that the Williams boys said they hadn't done much race practice, and if they don't have the quality pace, surely they won't have the race pace. Do you understand what I mean? Surely they can't.
But they might not burn out their tyres as much, so they might be able to get a better stunt done.
We'll have to wait and see, because it's not looking entirely promising. I mean, surely they're up against it here. I mean, that is the first real lap time in qualifying that I felt that either Williams could be beaten. Okay, Dave's looked a little bit fragile at times in qualifying, but to see that from Dan is quite remarkable. He's on top with a 131.3, Dave's second on a 131.5, Bartman on a 31.9 in third, James Hulkenberg 4/1000th behind still, with Dom in fifth, 7/10 off the ultimate pace, Stocky in sixth, 8/10 off the pace on a 132.1. Then it's GT5 King, 9/10 off the pace. Look at that. Third to seventh, separated by 3/10. That's incredibly close. Jamie James in eighth, a little bit further back, 1.4 off the pace. Dave the Harp, ninth, 1.8 off the pace. And Mowney, our favourite Dane, 2.8 seconds off the pace. Still waiting, and Johofin, Front Row Racing GP, to set a lap time. We'll see if they can set a lap time in the not too distant future. And in fact, Front Row Racing GP is out on the circuit at the moment, but we're going to ride on board with Mowney, who's coming through the final part of the lap, a 28.7 through the first sector, 38.7 through the middle. He might be on for an improvement here on his current best, locking up as he goes into club and into the final part of the lap now and up towards the line. What can Mowney do? A 33.3. He stays 10, but improves to within 1.9 seconds of pole. He shaved 9/10 of his best. Valiant effort from him, but he stays bottom of the timesheets at the moment.
I wonder if any drivers have looked at the weather. It says clear start, possible showers. Possible showers after a clear start.
Well, with 4 minutes to go and 53 seconds, looking from a commentary box window, things look absolutely fine, but you never know with the British weather, do you, Ray? You never know, but maybe the race tomorrow, maybe that's hinting at. We'll wait and see. If James Hulkenberg has come for a spin in the loop section, planting the throttle that was on his out lap, I believe. Goodness me, that's one way he heat the tyres up, spinning the rears into a spin. Goodness me. And the Ferrari guys in the pit wall are turning around looking at one another, shaking their heads. What are you doing, son? And James Hulkenberg rejoins the track with that prancing horse's tail between its legs. Goodness me. What was that all about? As we try and pick up Front Row Racing GP in the final two cars through Vale into club then. His first time in the session. Is his first time good enough to take him off 12? It is. He climbs to 9th. And that's enough to pop him just in front of Dave the Harp and Mowney. As Dave the Harp exits the pits, Mowney going again, no pitting this time. Johofin's on a lap, his first flying lap of the session. We're waiting for the quick guys to get out there and start putting quick light times together. James Hulkenberg's on an outlap, as we've mentioned. Dave's on an outlap. Dan's on an outlap. But Jehovan is coming round the final two corners, locking up in that Red Bull.
But he's on the prime tyres.
Eh?
He's on the prime.
Of course, good point. Good point. And he goes 12 with it. Very strange from Jehovan. He goes 12 on the prime. Very unusual decision. But very weird decision there from Jehovan. Absolutely baffling to see him do that, but we'll see what it brings for him. So Dan and Dave both out on the racetrack. Both drivers on the front row of the grid at the moment, both on outlaps as James Hulkenberg begins his quick lap. You know what? Let's go for a lap around Silverstone as he goes through the brand new first corner that is Abbey and down into this difficult loop section. Through that right-hander he goes now, the rear still sliding. James Hulkenberg's car still tail happy as he heads out of there now. Blasting out down towards the Wellington Straight he goes now, through Farm. Great overtaking opportunity this in the race. And we'll see Kev do a lot of this, I'm sure, as he heads down in a 29.0 through sector 1 into the very difficult Brooklands corner. You throw the car in, pray it will stick, and it does for James Hulkenberg into Luffield. Hug it nice and tightly like your favourite granny onto the exit and flooring it down that straight. But James Hulkenberg appears to have backed out of this lap, and instead I think we'll ride on board with Stocky, and he can pick it up from here as he heads down now into Brooklands with a 29.6 through the first sector, throwing it in there then, and the Mercedes also obliges through that first part into Luffield. He takes a wider entry, gives him a better exit of the corner, gets in the throttle nice and early and powers down onto the old start-finish straight and into this very tricky Cops corner, the old turn 1. Really committed out really onto the curb there, pushing his luck as Stocky, and now heading into Maggots and Beckett's. Look at the commitment, he throws it into there. Left, right, left again, and then right once more as he heads down towards Chapel. Stocky really wringing the neck out of that Mercedes, but it's not producing the lap time. It really isn't, is it, Ray?
No.
Goodness
No.
me. Well, let's try and pick up with someone else out there on the racetrack, because that was not looking particularly quick. Dan has just set a lap time. It wasn't any quicker, I don't think. But as we get towards the end of the session, he's the man to watch for then. Yeah, he might be the man. We'll watch Dave first complete his lap. Dave looks like he'll be last across the line of the guys contending for pole. James Hulkenberg currently fourth quickest. He's starting another lap. Bartman's about to start his as we ride on board with Dave. 28.0 through the first sector. That's pretty solid. That's marginally quicker than Dan, but in the middle sector he's lost out a little bit. This is going to be close. Dave was quicker last time round through this sector. Can he go quicker again and put that Williams onto pole position? This is going to be incredibly close. Dave for the line. He takes it by a tenth of a second. Dave takes pole position away from Dan by just under a tenth of a second, half a tenth of a second. Goodness me. What a lap, he's pulled it out of the hat. But can Dan respond? He can! He's spun it! And he's lost it! Dan has surely thrown it all the way down at Chapel. He tried to get on the throttle too quickly, and he's got 15 seconds to get to the line, and he will not get to the line. It's as simple as that. His chances of pole have been blown out of the window, and the Welshman will be absolutely gutted. Absolute disaster for Dan. Oh my goodness, he'll be devastated with that. Stocky's out there, Dom's out there, Jamie James, who do we want to ride on board with? Who's nearest the end of the lap? We've got James Hulkenberg heading down into the pit lane. Bartman's on a lap. Front racing Dave is on a lap. Who else? Stocky into the final corner. Currently 7th, stays 7th. And the man to ride on board with is James Hulkenberg, pulls into the pits is Bartman. He's coming through Stowe corner right now in the McLaren, sitting as he goes through there. Probably one of the few places the McLaren is quick in the corners. McLaren Honda constantly claiming their car's quick in the corners. It's just the Honda power that's the problem. And Bartman slithering and sliding his way through the final corner and slowing right down. And Dave's pulled into the pits as well. And this is really beginning to turn into a bit of a damp squid as we ride on board with Dave the Harp then as he comes through the final two corners into Vale, through Club. Dave the Harp up to the line. He's been outshone by his teammate up till now. Can he respond to that? No, he stays 10th. GT5 King stays 8th. And it's all about Jamie James, and he's come into the pits. And Joe Finn's the only man on a lap now, I believe. And Mowney. Joe Finn out of the final corner, currently 12th. And he stays 12th. Jamie James in the pits, Mowney crawling back, over the dink, or Dom crawling back to the pits. And in the end, there's not really been much action right at the end of this session, has there, Ray? It's been quite dull at the finish.
Yeah, that was good. Good that Dave managed to pull that out the bag there, or else he'd have been struggling.
Yeah, very impressive from Dave. He did it early. He didn't save it for the last lap of the session. He got that banker lap in. There was certainly a threat there from Dan, and they only do it by what, 400s, 500s of a second. Is quite remarkable considering Dan's position in the championship. He's nowhere. He's barely completed any races, and to go second quickest is incredible. Look at that. Half a 10 separate them. Then there's your qualifying results from the British Grand Prix. Front Row Racing Dave pulls the rabbit out of the hat to go fastest when it looked like Dan was going to surprise us all. The Williams on pole once more by 400ths of a second. Dan in second place with Batman in third, 6.5 tenths off pole. James Hulkenberg stayed that 1,000 slower. Look how close that is. That'll be some battle to watch in the race. Then it's Jamie James in fifth with his teammate alongside him on the third row, Dom in sixth. 1/10 separating those guys. Stocky starts seventh on his return to racing. We all hope he has a cracking Grand Prix. GD5 King pointed, well beaten by his teammate in 10th, Mowney 11th, and Joe Finn in 12th. 4.1 off the pace. And that concludes qualifying for the British Grand Prix. What will the weather bring tomorrow? We all know how tricky it is to predict the British Grand Prix weather. I wouldn't mind it rain. Would you, Ray?
Nah, it'd be more exciting. Well, it'll still be exciting, but it'll be even more exciting.
Absolutely. We always love a bit of variable weather.
See how it challenges them.
Well, here we go. We're all set for round 9 here at the British Grand Prix. It's Sunday and the sun is shining in the sky here again in July. And we're all set for the British Grand Prix, round 9 of the championship. Dave starts on pole. Can he beat his teammate Kev? It's his best chance to do it in a few races. He's been outpaced by Kev in recent weeks, but look, 15th in the grid is where Kev starts after trouble in qualifying. Look at that. Dom, Jamie James, 6th and 5th. James Hulkenberg 4th. Bartman 3rd. And Dan just that half a tenth slower than your pole sitter, Dave. Who's your money on, Ray? Who do you think will win this Grand Prix today? Who's the challengers? Who's the people you cannot count out? What do you think?
To win, who would win? I'd like to see Dan win it. Somebody different.
Do you think he can?
I think he could, yeah. If he gets his pit strategy on time, yeah.
Well, we'll soon find out because the race is moments away. We're all set for the start of the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. When the 5 lights go out, we will be racing. Lights out in round 9 of the World Championship, and away we go. Down towards the first corner they go. It's Dave still holding the advantage into turn 1. It appears he is. Dave still leads at the front from... Can't see, I need to go up to the front. Dan in second place, Bartman in third. And Jamie James, whoa, what's he doing? He's taking Bartman clean out of the action down at turn 1. Both of them are striking down into the entrance to the loop section. Crazy late lunge from Jamie James. It's cost both drivers, but it's Dave starting out front and leading from the front with Dan in second place. And there's 3 cars fanning out side by side going down the straight. It's Dom, it's James Hulkenberg, all scrapping over 3rd, 4th, and Stocky's there as well for 5th. And James Hulkenberg runs wide through Lovefield, and Stocky is going to slither up the inside and surely take the place he can and does go through. And those 3 are scrapping like crazy over that podium spot on lap 1. Dom has that 3rd place at the moment. He has the high ground. Stocky is right behind him in 4th. Then it's James Hulkenberg in 5th, GD5 King and Mowney all over the back of them in 6th and 7th as they stream their way through Maggots and Beckett for the first time in a 26, and there's contact there. Mowney's off into the grass. James Hulkenberg made contact with there and scraping the side of the Ferrari. What an eventful start to this race, and would you believe it, Kev is already from 15th on the grid, 14th on the grid, up into 6th place, make that 5th as he goes steaming up the inside of James Hulkenberg. What a start to the Grand Prix from Kev. Absolutely enthralling stuff. And James Hulkenberg straight back up the inside of Kev. Contact! Both drivers off the racetrack. Goodness me. It's all kicking off here at Silverstone at the start of this race. Absolute drama everywhere you look. Kev is in 6th place now, rejoining the track. Was it a late lunch from James Hulkenberg? I don't think it was too bad. I think he would have made the corner. I think Kev kind of half-heartedly turned in on him there. And that's how they made contact. There was nothing wrong, in my opinion, at first viewing, of course, of James Hulkenberg's lunge. It was completely legit and understandable. So let's get back to the front of the action, if we can. Dan is going side by side with Dave, and Dan's up the inside of Dave. Dan takes the lead away from Dave. Goodness me, the Welshman's made a storming start. He's taken the lead away from the Williams driver, and the fans are on their feet. All the Welsh flags here, a lot of them travel from Wales to this Grand Prix, are flying in the sky. But Dave is on the attack, looking to come back at him, but he can't do that through Cop's corner. And Dan might just be able to pull clear and make it a famous day for Wales. What a result this would be. Dan has the lead then as they go through Maggots and Beckett's, with Dave right behind him in 2nd, Dom in 3rd, and 4th position is the other Mercedes. Goodness me. And Dan's under serious threat now from Dave, who's coming back at him down the hangar straight, side by side. The V6 engines, the Mercedes engines screaming as they hit the brakes for Stowe corner. And look, Dave going to try and go the long way round. Surely he can't do that. Round the outside goes Dave. That's a beautiful effort. Can he complete the move on the brakes? He can! Oh, brilliant. I'm applauding. Sorry for applauding, but that was sensational. He steamed right round the outside of the Welshman as if he wasn't there. And Dan is going to have to respond because that was incredible driving from the pair of them. What a move. Round the outside went Dave and up into the lead of the Grand Prix once more. Fantastic stuff. What do you make of that, Ray? Incredible.
That was great racing, and it's brought over Die Kink into the contention now.
It has. You bet it has. And Dan has been rattled by that move, and here he comes, and through goes Dom. The man who won last time out, I'll say it again, pending appeal, is on the attack here. He's not going to wait around for Dan to get his confidence back. And Dom shoots through and snatches 2nd away. 1 minute the Welsh flags are fluttering. Next minute it's the Dutch flags in the sky, because Dan has dropped to 3rd. And now he's under threat from Stocky, his teammate in 4th. What a dramatic start to the British Grand Prix. Meanwhile, what is the progress of Kev? He's up to 5th. He's driving in the Sauber today. Obviously the game wouldn't let him change back to his traditional Williams car, but Kev recovering to 5th. How far up the order do you think he can get, Ray? Is a podium within his reach?
Sorry, I think he can. I think he'll change his strategy to get back up there. He's quite good with his strategies.
We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, it might happen. There's Dan and Dom side by side again, and Dan is not going to have it, is he? Whoa! Dom turning in and then turning away, then turning in again, because if he did turn in the first time, Dan would have wiped his front wing off and sent Dom for a spin. Gutierrez Maldonado style, quite possibly. But thankfully they get away with it. Dom turns in at the 2nd attempt and holds on to 2nd place. He had one little jerk of the wheel, then turned in again just to be sure, and he did just about get it right. Look at the scrap going on, and this is really helping Dave out front. The 2 Mercedes and Dom scrapping like crazy over that 2nd place, and Dave is scampering away out front, and that's what he needs with his teammate Kevin. All sorts of bother. Down in 5th place, but quickly gaining as Dan slithers back up the inside of Brooklands again. And is he going to complete the move? I think so. Yes, he has. Dan up into 2nd place again. What a scrap between these 3. And now Dom's in a Mercedes sandwich as they go filing their way down the old start-finish straight into Cop's corner once again. And Dom is nearly pushing Dan round Cop's corner. Get a move on, he's saying. It's all spicing up brilliantly in the fight for what is currently a podium place. I hope these guys don't get dropped by Dave, though. I really hope this stays the way it is, as Dom gets all sorts of... He's so far out of shape going through Chapel, and Stocky's all over the back of him. But that DRS he's got is cancelled out because Dom has it as well. Nonetheless, he's going to come steaming up the inside. Almost 3 wide through Stowe corner. Oh, brilliant racing. And it appears Dom has made the move on Dan. Dom looked like he was about to get overtaken, and he makes the move. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. a very late lunge, seen he was under pressure from Stocky from behind, realised he would have to brake late, and he did, and he went steaming up the inside of Dan, completing it round the outside into Vale. Another scintillating move in the opening 5 laps of this Grand Prix. What a blistering start. The fireworks are going off already. What do you make of that one, Ray? Another cracking move.
Yeah, another cracking move, but who's in the background?
It's Kev here. It's Kev here. Oh, well, hang on. Before we even think about Kev, Stocky and Dan are going side by side, and is Dan about to lose another place in wheel-to-wheel combat? He has. He almost let him through there. I think he just made a mistake, locked up, ran wide, and Stocky is now up into that 3rd place. Turn in here, because Dave is pulling away out front, and these guys just cannot break up from one another, can they? And it's contributing to a fantastic race. Well, lap 5 out of 26, climbing the hill, climbing up towards Maggots and Beckett's once again. Dom in that 2nd place, he's the man in that seat that everybody wants behind him. Look at that. Dom up into 2nd as the 2 Mercedes and the we'll say the Sauber, but it is the Williams driver of Kev, all strapping. As they go down to Stowe once more, Dan in 4th, right behind him is Kev in 5th. And it looks to me like Dan is just struggling. He started in 2nd place, he made the move to take the lead, but all of a sudden he's just hit a brick wall and started to struggle. And now Kev is all over the back of him. He's not just all over the back of him, he's clipping the back of him. And that was a really close piece of contact there. They're side by side coming across the line to the 6th lap. Dan against Juan, and Kev relinquishes, and Dan holds on for the moment. And this is all getting pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kev,
I think Kev will wait for the DRS.
We'll have that opportunity now. DRS open. Kev right up behind Dan as he goes down this back straight towards Brooklands once again. Onto the brakes, and there's no way through, but Dan locking up once again. That's not the first time he's done it down there, and Kev is swarming all over the back of him. He's slicing the gearbox of Dan in half with his nose cone, and here we go. He's going to pull alongside, side by side. Dan gives him as big a squeeze as he can, but it's not enough because Kev is going to come soaring through, is he? Maybe not. Side by side into Cops Corner. Kev surely overshoots it, loses the rear end, but somehow picks it up and somehow holds on to that position. Remarkable driving from the pair of them. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Another good move there, Ray, wasn't it? Beautiful.
Yep, that was great racing. I thought Dan gave Kev a wee tap mid-corner there.
Was that what it was? Is that what it was? I wasn't sure. I seen he lost the rear. I didn't know there was contact from behind. I was riding on board at the time, but okay.
Well, that's what it looked like. I don't know if it was.
Oh, now we've got Jamie James going side by side for 6th and 7th place with GT5 King. And GT5 King's gone off. No, he's not. He backed out of it. They made contact. GT5 King completely backed out of it. And Jamie James takes 5th place away from GT5 King, who drops into 6th. Well, all kicking off. What are you getting in the stream? What kind of comments are you hearing in the stream? Anything to fill us in from the Grand Prix?
I can't get the Twitch stream up. My tablet isn't loading up, so I'm just concentrating who you're on. I'm doing it for the YouTube channel.
Right. So let's see if we can pick up any more action on the track. Back to the front, and Dave is leading beautifully. He's cruising it in the helm of the Grand Prix. Look at that. Broken clear of the pack. He's done a great job, and really just stormed away from the chasing pack. And while everybody else has battled, he's been able to pull a gap. And Dom is the car that they're not letting us ride on more with for some reason. Kev has now made it past Stocky. That's because Stocky's pitted. Stocky's been in the pits, and he's currently down in 12th place. So Stocky has made the first blink for a pit stop then at the end of lap 6. The start of lap 7.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the undercut's like.
Well, yeah, we will wait and see. I mean, how many drivers are going to carry on? Look at Dave carrying on for another lap. Dom's carried on. Dan's coming in. So how will Stocky compare to his teammate then as Dan deals into the pits for his first stop of the afternoon? Mercedes guys get to work. Option tyres off, prime tyres on and away. Look at that. Brilliant stop. That's why they practice them all weekend long throughout the winter in relation to his teammate.
Stocky's just round at the start. Stocky's just round turn 1.
Stocky's well clear. Look at that. Way ahead of Dan. And that will disappoint the Welshman. And Stocky's right up behind Joe Hofen, who's now about to make the move, I think. He's on fresh tyre. Oh, contact! Oh, that's one for the shirts. Stocky and Jehofen making contact there, down at the loop. I think Stocky was just waiting for Jehofen to pick up the throttle there, wasn't he? I think there was an issue with Jehofen's tyres. You know, the tyre life made such a difference there. Stocky was waiting to go, get on the throttle. Jehofen still collecting his car together, trying to find the grip. And in the end, they made contact. Very unfortunate as we ride back on board with Kev, who is not in a mood to mess about, is he? Onto the back of Dom. And Kev is going to go round the outside of Dom, and that is going to be brave if he can pull that off. And indeed he does not. Dom, we know how good a fighter he is. We've seen how good he's overtaking it. How good is his defending as Dom pulls into the pits. So, Kev up into second place. How far is he behind his teammate as they come up to the line? Is Kev in the pits?
No, Dom's in the pits.
Dom's in the pits. What about Kev? No, Kev's sorry. Dave, I meant to say Dave. Dave is pitted.
Dave's in the pits.
And that, Dave is pitted. Not the only one. Dom's in as well. But where is Stocky in relation? Surely with that little bit of contact with Jehofen, it's really damaged the chances of challenging the likes of Dave and Dom.
He's coming round the last corner.
Yep, up to the line comes Stocky right now. Is he going to gain or is he going to lose? That is
over Dom
and pit exit. He's going to be really close. He's on the inside of Dom. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. As late as you want to be on the brakes, as opportunistic as you like from Stocky. Dom still getting the tyres up to temperature. And through goes Stocky. His tyres are piping hot and he shoots through. Searing past goes the Mercedes and the other car. Despite that contact, seems to have worked, and it appears there's some action in the background. Let's have a look at that as Dan fending off GT5 King and Jehofen. Dan on those prime tyres, so he's doing the prime stint now. He's doing the difficult prime stint early. GT5 King, Jehofen waiting on those guys to stop right behind. No, Jehofen's yet to stop, I think. I'm not sure about GT5 King. Yeah, no, GT5 King has stopped. It's only Jehofen that's yet to stop. Dom, Dave and Dan have all gone for the prime tyre stint right now. What will Kev do? Kev carries on those options for a 10th lap. Now, what do you think of this? Do you think this might mean he's going to do less stops this afternoon?
It could be. He might, I don't know, 26 laps, I don't know if they're going to go, I can't see them going a 3-stop.
I'm beginning to look and think of 1 stop.
Yeah.
Look, he's done 10 laps on those option tyres. What will the primes do? That's a big ask. Can he? Do you think he can? We'll have to find out. But Kev is definitely trying something different. There's no other reason for it. Why would you go this long on these tyres? Dave is 23 seconds behind him. That's a lot of time. Stocky is 3 seconds further back, and then it's 4th place for Dom as Bartman gets up close and personal with Jehofen, and is he about to make the move on Jehofen as they come out of the loop and through farm, and that was easy for Bartman, shooting through without any problem whatsoever. Will Jehofen come back? I don't think he's got the tyres to come back, and indeed he does not. Oh my goodness! Oh, locking up and nearly planting his car firmly in the back of that McLaren. Goodness me, that was incredibly close. Red Bull gives you wings, very nearly did in that case. Jehofen trying his luck there on the brakes.
I think GT5 King's got...
Sorry?
I think GT5 King's got Dan. His race going from worse to worse. Yes, he has. Dan's down in 6.
Oh, he has. Well, GT5 King passing Dan, but GT5 King on the option, remember, Dan on the prime, but still, not what we would have expected from the man who was so quick in qualifying, is it? He's coming back though, and Dan needs to get going soon. He needs to get into a rhythm, and he's going to go back up the inside. Oh, he's not. GT5 King's for having none of it, as Kev is pitted, by the way. I've seen that quickly, but now can Dan go back up the inside of G5 King? Nope, he can't. And now he might be under pressure from the next car behind. We've got a yellow flag on the racetrack. Why would that be? Weird now. Jamie James in 7th, also trying the prime stint, so he and Dan are going to be very close on the racetrack right up to the end of this Grand Prix, we feel.
Kev's in 3rd.
So Kev has rejoined.
Dom's overtaking him.
Oh, Dom's getting him now. Okay, let's see if we can pick that up. Oh, this PlayStation, honestly, see this thing not letting me watch Dom on the racetrack. I don't get it. It just doesn't let me ride on board with Dom. Anyway, riding on board with Kev, and Dom has got him, as you say there, Ray. Eagle-eyed. Dom in front of Kev there on pit exit. So Kev, he's 19 seconds. That can't be right. Is he 19 seconds off the race lead? Surely not.
I don't know.
See when he goes through that middle sector, how far he is off the race leader for trying this different strategy. So at the end of lap 10, he's made his stop. I don't know, can he make 15 laps on these tyres?
I would say so.
And there's Dom's mistake. And Kev's right there. He's going to sweep round the outside, is he? Has he got the momentum? Not quite. But he will have the DRS, and he will have a massive slipstream from that Mercedes-powered Lotus.
Oh.
And he's going to the outside. Dom moves across. I think he was very surprised to see Kev go the long way round. Can Kev complete it the long way round? I very much doubt it against someone as strong as Dom. And Dom says, no chance. You're staying behind for the moment. And Kev will be very, very disappointed he never got the move done there. What an opportunity that was. Great chance to get the move done, and very questionable why he went for the outside there, Ray. Why do you think he might have done that?
Just to get the nice line round the corner. Less, because
he's found a line now. Sorry for interrupting. He's found a line now, and he nearly makes it stick. No, he doesn't. But Dom runs very wide. Can he sweep round the outside? He's got the traction. He's got the momentum. He's going a long way round, and has he got the place? Still no, they go side by side. Dom against Kev, and Kev will surely have the turning point, will he? He will! He's outbroke him, he's done him on the brakes. It looked like he would have to brake very late to turn in, but he has done it. And Dom backed out. That was textbook stuff from Kev. It was beautiful, in fact. Went the long way round, got the turn-in point to perfection. Beautiful move from Kev, and up into 3rd place he goes. Lovely stuff. Absolutely beautiful. So Kev runs in 3rd, and Dom is not going to give that up as James Hulkenberg fights with his teammate. The Ferraris 9th and 10th. And James Hulkenberg finds his way past his teammate. Well, his teammate let him through right away. The Ferraris dueling over 9th and 10th, and James Hulkenberg coming up the inside. Will Dave the Hart fight it? Indeed he does not. He lets James Hulkenberg by in a flash. Number 1 driver there maybe. Ferrari once again going for number 1 driver and number 2 driver. And Brunner Racing GP12, Johofin in 12, Johofin 12, Brunner Racing 11, Mounting in 13, bringing up the rear. But out front, after 13 laps, a half distance mark, is Dave on those prime tyres. Stocky on the option behind him, hunting him down. He's got the gap down to 2.1 seconds. Kev runs in 3rd, only 8.5 seconds back. That's a very important thing to know. He's only 8.5 seconds back and probably doing 1 less stop. Isn't that right, Ray?
Yeah, I think he is doing 1 stop.
1 stop or 2, and maybe everybody else is doing 3. I'm not quite sure. But Kev going down this back straight with Dom right behind him, but not close enough to make a move as the Dutchman. And again, we cannot ride on board with Dom. Bartman having a very lonely, quiet race at the moment in 6th. GD5 King a few seconds up the road in 5th. And where is Dan now? He's 7th, and he's got Jamie James all over the back of him now. What is wrong with that Mercedes this afternoon? He's really struggling. And here comes Jamie James. Dan, remember, on the opening lap led this Grand Prix, and it looked like he had the pace to compete. But he's now languishing all the way down in 7th and really struggling on these primes, and Jamie James is going to show no mercy whatsoever, I wouldn't think, here at Silverstone. And the racing has lived up to the beautiful day. It's been absolutely incredible, and Jamie James now gets into the tow. And it's a drag race down to Stowe Corner. Can he switch it round the outside? He cannot, and Dan covers, but here we go. Jamie James with the traction, with the momentum. He'll go to the outside, hits the brakes. Dan locks it all up, goes very deep into the corner. somehow makes the apex for the second part, and Dan stays in 7th place as they start the 14th lap. Jamie James, surely this is a matter of time. Dan really struggling, having a look as they go into Abbey. Still no way through for Jamie James. Dan looking in his mirrors, a mirror full of a black and yellow Lotus. Through the loop, heading up towards Farm, and that's a great exit from Jamie James. He nailed that exit, surely. This is a slam dunk move from here, into the toe, into the slipstream, right up behind the Mercedes, pulls out to the left hand side, on the brakes, into Brooklands. Dan locks up, brakes very late, valiant effort to defend, he's still there on the entrance to Luffield. He's not going to give it up at all, is he? Still they go side by side. It's like Vettel against Alonso. Oh, there's contact! Jamie James in the wall! Dan's off the track, he rejoins as Jamie James lost the front wing. You better believe he has. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me, what a disaster. Jamie James and Dan are in a cracking scrap there. And then it appears Jamie James just got out on the dirt, he got out on the gravel, out in the grass, lost the rear, sloomed across the track and collected Dan, and in the end, Dan's kinda got away with it a little bit, but Jamie James needs a brand new front wing fitted to that Lotus car, and if they've got none, it's just a short trip to Enstone to go and pick one up. Not going very well, is it, for Jamie James now, is it? What a disaster. Ray, what's your take on that one? Who do you put the blame on?
I can't put the blame on any until you look over it again. But if it was a push out wide, then I'd say that'd be Dan Evans, because you've still got to give your car's width at least on the outside. So that was good racing up till that point.
It was indeed very unfortunate. And look, there's Dan Evans now, he's 7th, and his teammate, who he's racing with at the start of this Grand Prix, is a full pit stop in front of him. Look at that. Stocky's just come out the pits in front of him on those prime tires. Not at all what he was hoping for. So Stocky is the first man to blink then to fit those prime tires. And again, it stopped me from viewing Dom, annoyingly, as Dave heads round on those primes. Will he be anytime soon? Lap 15, a second stop. Prime tires to the finisher. That looks like a 2-stop strategy, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a 2-stop. So Kev must be going for the 1-stop. He must be. No other possible outcome. Got to be a 1-stop from Kev. It's a tall order, right enough. A very tall order. But why? It just doesn't. There's got to be that. Why would you pit so late? You know what I mean? Why would you do that? As Dave goes round onto the 16th lap, he leads with Kev 6.5 seconds behind him, which is quite impressive given his starting position. And so it is those two out front as usual. Dom is in 3rd, and it's GT5 King, who's doing a solid job in 4th, isn't he? Our fellow Scott doing a great job, a very fine effort, isn't it, from him, Ray?
Yep, that's been a good job. I can't remember where he started. I thought it was down in 9th or something.
He's doing a great job nonetheless, and he's probably looking for a top 5 finish if he's a bit lucky, if he can keep out of trouble and make some moves at the end of the race. It's got to be what he's looking for. But at the moment, a very solid drive. He's got Bartman again, keeping him honest in that 5th position, not too far up the road, or down the road, I should say. And Stocky, of course, he's in 6th place, but he's just made the switch to those prime tires. We'll have to wait to see where Dave is in relation to Stocky, because I think it could be quite close. James Hulkenberg, another poor weekend in 8th with Frontal Racing GP9. Joe Holstein down in 10th. Dave the Harp 11th. Jamie James, that front wing change all the way back in 12th. With Mowney in 13th. Back on over Dave then, with 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Is he about to make his final stop? Probably. No. Yes, Dave comes in, and that will be for the option tyre, I presume. He's probably found the data from Kev, because Kev fixed the option tyres for 10 laps at the start of the Grand Prix. So you would probably think that's what Dave's trying to do now, wouldn't you? 10 laps.
Yeah. But then if Stocky's on the primes for the last, I think Dave's called that right.
Very good point. Very, very good point. And where is Stocky going to be in relation? Because this could really mix things up. And not just that, Ray, you've got to think about Kev here. It means that Kev, despite doing a one-stop and his tires maybe struggling at the end of the Grand Prix, there's every possibility Dave won't be able to catch him. His tyres go.
Yeah. Stocky's just coming down the
Has he
first
gone
corner.
for options? But yeah, he has gone for options, so he definitely went for option tyres. Stocky is not far behind him. He really isn't. Dave has got to, if he wants to win this race this afternoon, he has got to break away from Stocky before his tyres go off. He's got to do that, because if he doesn't, Stocky will get him in a flash at the end of this race. It's finally in the balance here of the British Grand Prix, isn't it? Just going to be a fantastic finish to round 9 of the Front Row Racing World Championship. We've got Kev doing a one-stop strategy, we believe, leading this race, and he leads by quite a considerable margin. Can he be caught though? From the likes of Dave, from the likes of Dom. We're waiting on Dom actually. What's Dom going to do? What do you think he's doing? Is he going to try the one-stop? No, he can't. Surely he's on the same strategy as most, isn't he?
Yeah, I think they pitted near enough the same time. So...
Yeah, and so
Kev's in.
Stretching it out a little bit. And Kev's in. Okay, so Kev has decided against that one stop that he might be trying.
Dom, I think, has followed him. I'm not too sure.
Yep, he has. Dom has followed him in, so the one stop's not happening for Kev. He's coming in to the pits. 10 laps on the options. He couldn't do 16 on the primes. He could do 8 on the primes in fact. But he did such a gap. It was almost as if he might have been worth trying it just to do another 8 laps, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think it might have been worth the while. We'll have to wait and see at the end of the race. We'll listen to him if he makes the podium, what his opinion is on that. But Kev back out onto the track on the option, and the men in front of him, and yeah, Dom's out behind him on the option too. So the men in front of him, Stocky on the prime tyre, and Dave on the option tyre. So Dave should have this in the bag, you would think. But
Yeah.
Stocky, if he can keep with him, Dave's tyres maybe die at the end. There's every possibility.
How far is
What do you
Kev
think?
from Stocky?
Not very.
Because Kev can catch
Not
up.
very. Oh, this isn't the balance, because I've got this sneaky suspicion that Stocky pitted very early to try and force Dave into the pits early, so that Dave could maintain track position to Stocky, and he's forced Dave maybe into playing a card he didn't want to play and forced him to take those options 10 laps. And Stocky's saying, right, if you want to win this race today, Dave, you better pull away on these option tyres before the end of the race, because I'll start reeling you in, because those tyres will die at the finish. Maybe that's what Stocky's thinking, playing the long game, every possibility. But at the same time, you're going to have to watch from behind, because Kev on the option tyre is homing in on him too at the moment. So Williams might need to work together here, break down the Stocky charge. We might need to get Kev on those fast option tyres in front of the Mercedes driver. It's all finely poised with just 8 laps to go as Dave responds to that fastest lap of the race at 1:33.7, just to enhance his chances of victory. He is leading out front, Stocky in second, Kev in third, fourth position is Dom, and fifth GD5 King, doing a stellar job and looking on course for a fantastic 10 World Championship points. What a drive it's been from him, very solid. Bartman still in sixth, keeping him honest as Front Row Racing GP pits for the final time. The Force India driver heading down pit lane into the box right now, and onto a brand new set of the option tyre to charge towards the finish, as Dan has only just gone through in 7th. Goodness me, what a poor afternoon it's turned out to be after it looked so promising yesterday. And in the opening few laps of this Grand Prix, Dan is now banshing all the way down in 7th place, well behind the leaders. Not a weekend he'll want to remember. James Hulkenberg, the same fate he is suffering from. 4th in the World Championship standings. You wouldn't think that after Austria and the Silverstone race. He's really struggled in that Ferrari in the last few races. A mid-season slump appears to be what's occurring to him. Jehoffin, he's on course for 2 solid World Championship points in 9th, but he's got Dave Harb hunting him down in 10th. And is there a potential move there between 9th and 10th? We'll have to wait and see. And 11th, because Jamie James is on a charge as well, and so is Front Row Racing GP. So these guys, these 4 guys, fighting over 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, right at the back of the pack. Battles everywhere you look. Puzzles waiting to be solved all the way down the field, isn't there, just Ray?
Yeah, then Front Row Racing GP, he's going for the overtake.
He's not just going for it, he's completing it. What a move, he's up the inside. Oh, has he completed it? I think he has. Oh, that's incredibly close going through there. And I was About to turn away from the screen, expecting contact, but brilliant stuff from Front Row Racing GP. Using those option cars to good use and demoting Jamie James further away from the points. Can Front Row Racing GP get up to the Ferrari and the Red Bull in front and score some points before the end of this race? It's going to be fascinating to watch that little scrap at the back. But for the moment, let's see if Dave can get in front of Joe Hofen in that scrap for 9th and 10th. Could be quite critical this for Joe Hofen and Dave. If one of them can get in front, whoever is in front before these two behind get them, because let's face it, those two behind seem to be quicker, they really do. And Joe Hofen in 9th and Dave in 10th, but I just think that Force India and the Lotus have got the pace on them, and here comes Front Row Racing GP on those fresh option tyres. He'll be setting some blistering pace. Well, these two struggle on the primes, and look, here he comes, a 4-car battle at the back of the pack. Joe Hofen currently running in 9th position, another serious threat. Dave the Harp 10th, then Front Row Racing GP 11th, 12th position for Jamie James, who, remember, lost his front wing in that collision with Dan earlier on. Lap 20 out of 26, that's a puzzle that waits to be unsolved. So let's get back up to the front of the action then and see how it's all shaping down there. Front Row Racing GP, look, DP, sorry, Dave pulling a gap. He's doing a great job, isn't he? What a fantastic drive from the World Championship leader, showing his true class. He's pulled away back from Stocky 7.1 seconds. Surely that's impossible for Stocky to close in, even if those tyres die. And not just that, Stocky's under serious threat from Kev, who's about to make it a Williams 1-2, I believe. I know he's in the Sauber, but Williams in the Championship, because of his disconnection, he's not in that car. And Stocky's under serious threat, not just from Kev, but maybe even the high-flying, charging Dom behind. And here comes Kev up the inside. Is he going to make it stick into second place? Stocky tries to hang it around the outside, but he can't. And Kev snatches second place away from the Mercedes driver, and Stocky drops to third. And the Williams train continues to roll and steam on. 1-2 they lead now. Stocky in third. Dave from Kev out front. Can Kev catch Dave? Can he maybe mount some pressure on Dave here and show that he's the man in second place? And Dave might get a little bit worried. We'll have to wait and see. 3 points separate them in the championship. They're in a league of their own. They're miles ahead of everyone else. But I don't think Kev, 8.1 seconds, he's not going to close that up. I think it's more of a question if Stocky can come back at him when Kev's tyres die. Obviously the prime tyre, the slower tyre, but the more durable tyre, and the longer these guys are on the option, the shorter the gap and the difference between these tyres will be. And there's every chance Stocky's primes could be better than Kev's options at the end of this Grand Prix. So if Stocky can just do his best to stick with them, he's got a chance. But at the same time, he needs to watch from behind, because Dom is threatening that podium spot that Stocky holds at the moment as they go through to complete another lap. Let's go down the order then. Bartman in 6th, Dan Alonely racing 7th with James Hulkenberg 8th. What about Dave the Harp? He appears to be in front now of Joe Hofen. In fact, everybody seems to be in front of Joe Hofen. He must have made a mistake, because Joe Hofen is all the way down in 12th. He's right at the back of the group now. And Jamie James is 11th, back in front of Front Row Racing GP. So there's been a lot of fireworks going on at the back of the pack while we've been trying to understand what's happening at the front. But Front Row Racing GP running in 11th place, still outside the points, but on the best tyres out of everyone in that group. 5 to go here in this Grand Prix. And the scrap for the World Championship points continue down at the tail end. James Hulkenberg looks safe in his 8th place though. Dave the Harp up into 9th now with Jamie James behind him after that front wing change earlier on, storming his way back up through the field and looking like the man to beat now. He looks like the man that's most likely to win this scrap for 9th. He's closing in on the back of Dave the Harp, and any moment now he'll be trying to make a move as they go through farm and onto the back straight, the Wellington straight, for the 22nd time out of 26. Jamie James then hitting the brakes down at Brooklands. Dave the Harp running a little bit wide there. Jamie James hugging the apex brilliantly, and still wide goes Dave. And Jamie James is going to try and go the long way around. Please don't go in the gravel again, my man. And he doesn't. He learns from his error earlier on. Whether it was a squeeze, whether it was an error, we're not sure. But he's now going to try and go the long way around. Dave the Harp is not interested in giving it up very easily, and that's allowing Front Row Racing GP to get involved. Dave the Harp though has just not got the grip, he's not got the speed, and through goes Jamie James and Front Row Racing GP through the middle. And is he going to take them both? Oh, humongous shunt, enormous accident. Jamie James and Front Row Racing GP coming to grief down at Magazine Beckett's. That is an enormous accident. And somehow both drivers can continue from that one. Absolutely enormous shunt. And I tell you what, there'll be a few hand gestures being exchanged here, because that was absolutely enormous. Ray, if you get any view on that, because that was whew, heart and mouth stuff.
Yeah. Jesus. I'm trying not to swear here.
So am I. Wow. Oh no! Stocky, he's been disqualified from the race! And his return to action ends in heartbreak. No, disappointment. Oh, poor old Stocky, disqualified from the British Grand Prix. I think he's probably just cut a few too many corners. Either that, he's had a penalty that he should not have had. But Jamie James and Front Row Racing GP are now scrapping over a point, when it looked like they were not going to be scrapping over a point due to that disqualification. And well, well, is there going to be any love lost between these two? Because here we go again. Front Row Racing GP in the tow, pulling alongside and completing the move on the brakes up into 10th place. And did Jamie James give him a little bit of a...
He's coming back.
He's coming back.
Oh, what it was. Well, it's just that concertina effect.
Yeah, it is through that section. And was there a middle finger exchange there, Ray? Did you see any? Quite possibly was. Quite possibly was. And Joe Finn up to 9th then, and Dave the Harp up to 8th. And that promotes James Hulkenberg to 7th, Dan 6th, Bartman 5th. Out front, it's still Dave. On lap 24, 26, and Stocky has had enough. He's doing a Raikkonen, and he's leaving the circuit before the end of the race. He's not interested. And he departs with Kev slowly hunting down in the back of Dave. Still 5.4 seconds back. Not close enough to challenge Dave today. Surely Dave is heading for victory this afternoon. And anyone, I see a few comments popping in there. I'm not able to read them, but what I will say is, guys, if anybody can read them, I don't know if it's possible for them to read them, I'll see if I can get into them. Could you guys maybe let us know who your driver of the day is? If you've been watching, post to you who believe you is the driver of the day. We'll make the ultimate decision, but we wouldn't mind a little bit of a helping hand deciding who we believe the driver of the day should be. But I think Kev might be the driver of the day. He's drove from the back of the field to within 5.3 seconds of his teammate and race leader. It's been quite fantastic, hasn't it, just Ray? What a drive from him.
Yes. Great drive.
Brilliant. And Dave as well, he's done well. He's pulled clear, and after that hairy moment at the start racing with Dan, he seems to have pulled clear brilliantly, take full advantage of that. Dom running a great race to third again. A special mention to GT5 King as well, who now runs fourth. What a result this would be, but he's got Bartman breathing down his neck in the McLaren. More action, more racing going on in the closing laps of the British Grand Prix. It's been a fine afternoon here at Silverstone. The sun splitting the sky, shining down on the asphalt here at Silverstone, and it's not finished yet. This racing has been incredible. The fans have enjoyed it, soaking up the sun and the Grand Prix action on the circuit. And we're not finished yet as Bartman begins to line up GT5 King in 4th place, and VJ Malia is probably getting a little bit concerned on that pit wall, because I heard down in the pits they were preparing a curry, a special curry for GT5 King, bringing it home in 4th place. Well, they might be putting the curry back in the fridge if Bartman can get him. A very solid 4th place at the moment for GT5 King. Can he cling on to that though? As Dave continues to lead out front. On lap 25 out of 26, he's just put a lap on Mowney. 4.9 seconds is advantage to Kevin second, with Dom running a lonely race now in third, with GT5 King fourth, with Bartman just over a second back in fifth. Dan closing in on them as well in the closing laps, but not quickly enough on those option tyres, I would say, to make any severe inroads. We'll keep an eye on that though. He's sixth. James Hulkenberg 20 seconds back from him in seventh. Dave the Harp 8th. Front Row Racing GP 9th. He's in front of Joe Finn now. He's climbed back up after that monumental shunt with Jamie James a few laps ago. He's 9th. Joe Finn 10th. Just had a forgettable afternoon, making contact not once but twice with drivers running down in 11th place. Mowney bringing up the rear in 12th as Dave begins his final lap, his tour to victory, his lap of honour, as he is about to extend his World Championship lead, leading at the moment by 3 points, I believe. Is it 3 or 4? I think it's 3 points. And he is now about to extend that to 10 points with victory here this afternoon. Rounding Luffield for the final time goes the Englishman. He's going to win here at his home track. What a day for Williams. Their home track both their drivers home track, and they're about to bring it home for a famous 1-2. One of them started at the front, the other ones came through from the back. Such is their dominance here at Silverstone. Maggots and Beckett's negotiated for the final time, and then down towards Chapel comes Dave. He's already waving to the fans in the grandstand, the air horns going, the Union Jacks, the English flags flying in the grandstands as Dave homes in on the final part of the lap. There's Kev in the background, who's put up a valiant effort to come home second, but it's going to be Dave. Surely this was decided in qualifying, you have to say it really was. And Dave rounding the final two corners, through Vale into club for the final time, and Dave wins the British Grand Prix to extend his lead at the front to 10 World Championship points. It's Kev in second, and Dom, as we finally get to ride on board with him, is going to bring it home for a momentous fourth. The Dutchman breaks up the British podium, and he'll give the fans a polite wave as he crosses the line. It's going to be fourth for GD5 King, and Dan has done Bartman at the end. Dan has done the move on Bartman. Goodness me. The option tyre's working a treat at the finish as he slides his way through the final corner, side by side up to the line. Bartman and Dan. Oh my goodness. Oh, that will go to the stewards. That one will go to the stewards. Unbelievable. But in all that chaos, GD5 King, what a drive. Huge mention to him. What a great drive from Rehan to bring it home in fourth. And the Scottish Saltires are also making an appearance here this afternoon. Good result for him. James Hulkenberg at home a disappointing 7th, and Front Row Racing GP is going to come home 8th, with Dave the Harp 9th, and Jamie James is just about going to get a final point at Joe Finn. Will be so disappointed having been in the points for so long. But 7th for Jamie James. Front Row Racing ends a solid afternoon, you have to say, overshadowed by his teammate in 8th. Dave the Harp by the skin of his teeth in 9th, with the very infuriated Jamie James 10th. Joe Finn down in a disappointing 11th place. But there is your podium. A fantastic race weekend by its Dave extends his championship lead to 10 points, winning at his home. And what a special podium this is going to be. There he is, lifting the trophy aloft. And now the Champagne Series here at round 9 in Silverstone. It's Dave who's victorious from Kevin second, and Dom completes the podium in third. A fantastic afternoon's racing here at Silverstone, and we can't wait to join. Stay with us for the podium interviews, which we'll have in a few moments time. But before that, here is the standings and the race results, from the British Grand Prix. Front Row Racing Dave winning by 3.5 seconds from Kev, who started right at the very back. Dom brings it home in a solid third from 6th in the grid, with GT5 King an incredible 4th from 8th in the grid. Then it's Bartman down in 5th, with Dan very disappointed with 6th. James Hulkenberg brings it home in 7th for Ferrari, another low score for him this weekend. Front Row Racing GP, the brother of the race winner Dave, brings it home in 8th, and I believe it was 9th in the end for... oh goodness me, I lost the standings there. I can't be sure who it was. I think it was it Dave the Hart that was 9th? Welcome along to the podium interviews for the British Grand Prix, round 9 of the World Championship, Front Row Racing World Championship. Let's start with Dave, our race winner. Well, Dave, what can we say? The perfect weekend, and maybe even the best race for you so far this season, the most comfortable race, is that fair to say?
I'd have to say definitely not the most comfortable.
Okay.
I said I was going to keep the answer short, so yeah, definitely not the most comfortable.
But what would you say then of your race weekend? Then you've got to be happy. You have race victory and you've pulled the gap out to 10 points, I believe now. I mean, fortunately for Kev, but a real chance for you now to pull through on the standings. You must be delighted with the win.
I am happy with the win, but at the same time, I've got to sort of doff the cap to Kev. He had no setup, and he went from the back of the grid to second, and he was catching me at the end. And the bit that wasn't comfortable for me was that my tyres, for whatever reason, they were telling me to pit after 3 laps in that final stint. So the last 2 or 3 laps was proper, sort of on the edge of level of grip. The tyres were proper dying. qualifying times were way off the pace, and I mean I know Kev's qualifying pace was in the 129s, with me in the very low 30s. So had Kev been able to get his quali time in, it'd have been on pole, I think. So yeah, pleased, but at the same time disappointed and impressed with the way Kev came back through in that race.
Yeah, we'll move to Kev quickly then. And Kev, wow, driver of the day, hands down, incredible drive. But what happened to qualifying? Can you just clarify what happened to the car, or what happened to you, or what happened?
Yeah, well, on my screen everyone else disconnected, so I thought I was alright, but then I realised I was the only one on track. But I could still drive round, which I thought was strange. Anyway, so I messaged the chat and said, has anyone else disconnected? And he said no, so then I quit the game, reloaded the game. Luckily I landed an invite off Rian and someone else, so I joined back through that. And then it gave me the Sauber, which, as you know, with these racing games, a lot of how you drive depends on what's coming into your ears. And it didn't sound normal, so it was tough. It was tough to drive the car. But after a few laps I did get used to it, but it was still not my usual noise, so it was different. Yeah. Yeah, well, I believe the game gives you a standard setup, so it's very good on the tyres. I must admit, I did think I did 10 laps on the first stint with no problem. Then I did 7 laps on the primes, and then did 9 laps on the options at the end.
Well, we were actually thinking in commentary that after that 10-lap opening stint without an issue, that you would maybe even go for the one stop. That was something we desperately wanted to ask you, because you had a solid gap. You know, the pit lane time's very, very big at this circuit. I was certain you were going for the one stop. Why did you back away from that? What was the reason?
I never, ever do one stops. I don't think I've ever done one yet. It didn't cross my mind, but thinking back now, it could have been an option, I suppose. Yeah. Should have thought about it a bit more.
Yeah, because me and Ray both felt, wow, he's got quite a big gap here if he wants to try it. And just the way he did the first stint, I thought, oh, he's done 10 laps on those, maybe 16 laps on the primes is entirely possible.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Okay.
It probably would have been, yeah.
Maybe a lesson learnt there for Kev, but still, a very impressive drive. I mean, there's some of the overtakes, absolutely brilliant stuff from you, Kev. And yeah, we really enjoyed it. Really made the commentary box come alive at times. Fantastic. So, Kev, fantastic drive. Although unstopped could have been on, maybe even a race victory. Let's move on to the Flying Dutchman. Dom, your thoughts? Good result again on the podium. And before we go to that, what's your opinion on last week? You won your first race of the season by the looks of it, pending appeal. Any words on that?
Yeah, I was really happy with that. It's a shame that I didn't win it on track, but regardless, I'm really happy with that race win. And the plan for this race was to get back-to-back wins, but that didn't quite work out the way it was supposed to.
Okay, but they're still quite satisfied with the podium in the end? Did you feel the drivers around you just far too strong?
Yeah, I have to be satisfied. Dave and Kev's pace was quite good. We had a disappointing qualifying again, but I think 3 times in a row. I was in the mid-30s in practice sessions, mid-high 30s, and I was only able to put a 32 dead in for the qualifying. So that was kind of disappointing. But then again, I had a good start, and then I had a great battle with 2 Mercedeses. Yeah, as soon as I started to find my rhythm, I could pull away from them, and then Kev came up behind. And yeah, at a certain point, Kev overtook me, and it was a race to the end for Stocky, because Stocky was on the primes for the last stint, and we were catching him, and then we had an incident with Stocky, which he just apologised for as well. Just got a message of him. It's very nice, very generous as well. So I really respect that. And yeah, we were still able to drive it home in third. So I can't say I'm not happy with that. Sorry again.
Both you and Stocky, we missed that on the camera. We seen he got disqualified. We weren't sure what that was about.
We were at the first DRS straight, and he came from quite a far way back. And then, as he just said to me on Facebook Messenger, he locked up, and that basically took me out, or took both of us out. And then I drove off, and he got disqualified for whatever reason, I don't know.
Goodness me. Well, not the greatest of the ideal return for Stocky, but Yeah, not what he was hoping for, but nonetheless, thanks for that, Dom. Well done for your win last time out pending appeal, and well done again to be on the podium. You're beginning to accumulate those points. Back to you, Dave. Before I move on to next weekend, I want to ask you about Dan. I mean, surely you were quite concerned at the start of the race pace.
I was a bit, yeah. I mean, for the first few laps, he was all over the back of me. I think he may have got ahead at one point. Yeah, I think he did get ahead. But I think for me, I was fairly comfortable in a way, because it was a case of, right, let's find out what the level of grip is of these tyres and get into the groove of driving on them. Once I'd done that, I was able to pull away and let everybody else argue with him. What I was actually more concerned about was Stocky, because he caught up fairly quick. But it soon became apparent he was on the options and he was saving fuel so he could run rich on the primes. So I was concerned about his pace towards the end. And it's a shame that he didn't actually make it to the end of the race. But yeah, I mean, Dan, he looked fairly quick early on, so it'll be interesting to see what he's got at the next race. I don't actually know what the next track is.
Hungary, mate, the track I won it last year.
Oh. That'd be an interesting one, that.
Sure, that will be very interesting, and that concludes things very nicely indeed. We'll look forward to next time out at the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix, where Dom promises to challenge for victory. Make sure you tune in for that one. It's going to be an absolute cracker once again. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.